Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 22 online CFM game. It's time for the off-season recap. We're entering the 2024 season here in the Premier Madden League. It's year 4 of this online CFM in Madden 22 with our Houston Texans. So as we always do, I'll show you guys some preseason action, starting off with week 1 against the Washington football team / Commanders, and then we'll sprinkle in some of our off-season moves, whether it's free agent signings, trades, and draft moves that we had over the offseason. So this offseason is going to be different than last offseason because last time out, we had a lot of holes to fill, and we had a lot of capital as we go downfield and find Anthony Schwartz a minute into the postseason, and the Flash is doing his thing already. So yeah, Anthony Schwartz, one of those guys where it's like, all right, we're pretty set on that position. As opposed to last season, we had to completely rebuild the roster. We made a number of very aggressive moves, whether it was draft moves or straight-up trades, right? We traded for Mixon, we traded for Schwartz, all this stuff. Now, looking at our team, we have a lot of positions where I feel like we're pretty set at. Linebacker is one of them with Roquan, Grugier Hill, Drew Sanders, and Drake Jackson. Offensive line, we're going to bring back the same starting 5 on the offensive line that we had last season with Luke Matthews, Kenyon Green, Trey Turner, whom we re-signed, Ali Marpet that we traded for last season, and Laramie Tunsil. And, wide receiver, I think we can improve on Quez Watkins since he just dropped the pass for us in the playoffs in our last game. But wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 is pretty set with Kirk and Anthony Schwartz. Tight end, we could potentially get a backup, but Brevin Jordan, I think he's our guy. But those are positions, guys like Drake Jackson and Brevin Jordan, the only moves we would really make is try to improve on those positions, right? If we could trade Brevin Jordan for Kyle Pitts, for example, I would do that. I don't think the Atlanta Falcons would do that. That's the only problem. But, that's the kind of moves that we would make, right? If we could trade, like, Drake Jackson for Chase Young, moves to improve our team in that way. But otherwise, we got a lot of positions set. I would say secondary is the one spot we can really improve on, as well as some defensive line depth as we go to Anthony Schwartz in the preseason. Once the first quarter is done, the backups come in. So, we're going to get a lot of backups, a lot of young guys playing for the rest of this one. Now let's go over some of the moves we made, starting off with free agent signings. We had a lot of cap space going into this free agency, over $100 million. Not a lot of big free agents to attempt to sign. So we basically just signed some geezers, man. We signed some veterans and a couple of guys that I expect to start. Kenny Golladay, I'm not sure he'll start over Quez Watkins, but we signed him potentially as a wide receiver 4 and a backup in case someone gets hurt. While he's out there in free agency, put him on a 1-year deal. We got Kyle Fuller. He's going to start for us. Cam Jordan was supposed to start for us, but you're about to see why he is not going to start for us because we made a big trade with the Chicago Bears to acquire Aiden Hutchinson, the now 3rd-year defensive end from Michigan. He got drafted by the Bears. Actually, he got drafted by the Bengals, if you guys remember. We actually really wanted to get Aiden Hutchinson in that 2022 draft, but he got taken right before us. We now have Aiden Hutchinson on our team, and the cost was a backup linebacker, Jermaine Johnson, backup edge rusher, and a 2nd and 3rd round pick in this year's draft. But we did get Aiden Hutchinson, and even though we just picked up Cam Jordan, we're going to start Aiden Hutchinson over Jordan. He's a fresh body to throw out there and a pretty good move for us, I feel like, because like I said, right, we don't have a lot of positions to improve on, and defensive line was one of them where if we could get an extra end or defensive tackle, that would be nice, especially since Haskell Garrett gets injured, like clockwork. And Aiden Hutchinson, he can be that guy for us. And if one of those guys get hurt, we have DeMarcus Lawrence and Cam Jordan waiting to back them up. And we re-signed Ross Blacklock to be a backup defensive tackle as well. So you guys see the status of our draft picks after the moves we did. We also got a 3rd round pick from Washington in return for Tyler Hudson, who you guys remember we drafted last year in, I believe, the 4th round. And he had a pretty good preseason. He was our wide receiver number 4 for a lot of the season. But Washington offered a 3rd round pick, and I wasn't going to turn that deal down. So as you guys see, we have a lot of mid to late round draft picks, which is fine by me. Our top 3 picks have all been sent away to improve our team. We got Ali Marpet for our 1st round pick, and that ended up being a really good deal because our draft pick ended up being pick number 29 since we made it to the championship game. Our second-round pick went to the Bears, an Aiden Hutchinson deal, as well as an early third-round pick we had from the New Orleans Saints. That was from the Kyler Gordon trade. Remember, we traded Kyler Gordon for a fourth-round pick last year and a future third, which ends up being this year's third. So we sent that away for Aiden Hutchinson. You know, it's a price tag to pay, but, you know, for a former top 10 pick, star dev, you know, a chance to get him to superstar this season, why not take that chance, right? So, you know, like, I don't really know. We could get a lot of improvements from the draft, and I don't mind having, you know, the number of mid to late round picks we do have, because we actually still have, I think, 8 draft picks going in there. And, you know, I enjoy drafting in those mid to late rounds because, you know, you take your shots and you're not going to hit on all of them, but if you hit on some of them, then, you know, it looks really good for you. As we go downfield for Jalen Red. Jalen Red still on the roster, and Washington is seeing red as we're seeing the end zone. Washington almost had Jalen Red on their team. This is me and the Washington football team owner trying to negotiate, or he hit me up to do a trade for Jalen Red. He offered me a 4th-round pick for Jalen Red. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Jalen Red's at the bottom of our roster. I'll miss him. He's fast, and he's been a franchise, you know, cult hero for us. But, you know, if I could deal him for a pick, I mean, you know, 4th, I'll do it. And this is before we did the Tyler Hudson trade. We dealt the Tyler Hudson thing after this negotiations. But as you guys can see from the messages, he said that Jalen Red failed a physical. So that was a little personal right there. That touchdown from Jalen Red was a little personal, man. He felt disrespected by Washington. They tried to put a bad rep on his name and, you know, trying to, you know, diminish his already small value considering he's like a 57 overall. So, yeah, Jalen Red had to get him back in this preseason at some point, man. We were going to match up against the Washington. We had to let Jalen Red do something at some point. And what can Jalen Red do? He can run with the ball in his hands or not. He's got 95 speed, I believe, at this point. So, yeah, he made it happen right there. And, of course, Tyler Hudson is on the opposition. So you might have noticed Tyler Hudson making a couple of plays for Washington. I'm sure Tyler Hudson is trying to prove that he should have been in our rotation. He's like, I could have caught that ball and not Quez, right? It's Aiden Hutchinson with his 2nd sack of this preseason game. We let Hutch play the full game, and he's getting some valuable reps for us as we get a big 4th down stop here. You know, preseason, nothing crazy going on, but if we have a close game, we'll try to win it, and that should be the dagger. Wow, Jalen Red. They're seeing red right there, and, you know, Jalen Red, man, like I said, he was going to take that personal. Tyler Hudson, though, gets the touchdown right back in double coverage. Wow, okay. So, yeah, you guys see the makeshift of this team, right? We don't have the high draft picks we had in the first 2 off seasons to make those big moves. We didn't make any trades for any big superstars or anything like that, right? The Joe Mixon trade, the biggest thing we did was we traded for Aiden Hutchinson, but, you know, I was cool with trading for Hutchinson, and 2, I felt like we actually had too many draft picks going into that draft, because like I said, we didn't have a lot of holes on our team, and I was like, all right, like, we don't need this many draft picks. If I can shed them somehow, some way, we'll do it, and to get a player like Hutchinson really worked out for us. As we have our first draft pick, it is that Washington draft pick, and we do draft the receivers, so we trade away Hudson, and we just get another receiver, and hopefully this guy is better than Tyler Hudson. He's got 93 speed off the bat, 6'2", and, you know, off of physicals alone, I think he'll be better than Tyler Hudson, but obviously we need to wait on his rating because, yeah, he could end up a 50 overall like Jalen Red. As we have almost back-to-back picks here. We had 27 and 29 in the 3rd round, so the Washington pick and then our own pick. Remember, we traded away the 3rd-round pick of the Saints in the 3rd round, not our own 3rd-round pick. And we end up drafting Andrew Mukuba. Akuna Matata out here. I don't know. Andrew Mukuba. He's pretty good. As you guys see, he's a 73 overall. Troy Franklin, the receiver we drafted, he ends up being a 70 overall. Definitely raw. He's, you know, athletic. He's got the physical tools, but he's raw as far as a route runner. So, you know, is Troy Franklin going to start for us? I don't think so. I think Quez might still hold down that wide receiver 3. He might hold out the competition, man. Quez might get another year at wide receiver number 3 on our team behind Schwartz and Kirk. But, I mean, Troy Franklin, he has the potential, and maybe if he develops a little bit, might, see some starts or something midseason. I don't know. Maybe we start Kenny Golladay. I'm really trying to figure out what to do with that wide receiver 3 position. That's one of the few spots where we have an open competition here in the preseason. And the other spots is, secondary. Secondary, I'm definitely trying to mess around and see if we could retool it just a bit, as we have the catch right there by Christian Kirk. Second down, out the Wildcat, Sam Howell. We're now in preseason week 2 against the Arizona Cardinals. We put Sam Howell in the Wildcat just to try to, trick our opponent, right? It's like, oh, he's in Wildcat. But we actually just put our quarterback in there and just running a natural passing play. Our secondary, that might be a weakness right there, right? We have Kyle Fuller and William Jackson. They're not slow, but probably can't leave them one-on-one with Andy Isabella like that. So, we'll have to scheme our defense the right way. But, yeah, secondary, we have older players. So, I think if we could draft a cornerback in the future or a safety for the future, that would help us out, as Quez Watkins is easily gone for the touchdown. We did re-sign Brian Poole, and as you guys remember, Brian Poole played a big role in our defense, especially down the stretch when we permanently moved Monte Nicholson to sub-linebacker in our nickel and dime sets, and, split the time between Poole and Caden Stearns at that strong safety position when Nicholson was in the box. We re-signed Poole. He regressed a little bit, so we'll see if Poole can get back that starting nod, but I'd like to see if we can draft especially a safety to start that strong safety position. Obviously, we have Justin Reed at free safety. That's not an issue at all. We could start Caden Stearns as well if none of the above options look good enough. As we are going to get the 4th down stop here. That's going to be a legal touching that it's not going to matter anyways. Would have been a turnover on downs. So our defense doing the job right here against Kyler and the Cardinals. So Mukuba, is he going to be our guy? His ratings are pretty solid, but I'm going to try to see if we can get a better guy down the line. If not, I think I like Caden Stearns over Makuba Matata out there. So we hit up Christian Kirk, the former Arizona Cardinal, and he hops in for the touchdown. Takes the hit from Darius Leonard that actually propels him for the score. So in preseason, Christian Kirk doing work, and the Cardinals reading and weep out here. Nice little user pick right there at the goal line with Justin Reed. You guys might have noticed right there that we did have a injury to Luke Matthews. Luke Matthews is going to be out for not only the rest of the preseason, but he's going to miss our week 1 game as well. So that's a bit unfortunate right there. And I'm sure you're wondering why I'm playing starters in the preseason and risking injury, because the same thing happened last year. In fact, it happened with Luke Matthews last year. The reason why is because in this league, the XP sliders are absolutely turned up in the preseason. Normally, the XP sliders are actually really low in this league. They're like somewhere around 50 to 75, depending on the position. As we get the interception here with William Jackson. Oh, man, and he had a crib call written all over that one, but shout out to the Madden dive tackles. Oh, that ball died in the air, and it's no good by Kaimi Fairbairn. We had to attempt the 59-yarder there at the end of the first half after Jackson got tackled, and unfortunately we didn't get points out of that, but hey, it's preseason, whatever. But yeah, I actually forgot what I was talking about, man. I completely missed my train of thought right there, covering that William Jackson return. So yeah, obviously our team is coming off of an AFC Championship game loss, so, what do we do about that? Not too much, because we had a good season last year, right? We don't have to blow the team up, so we're not going to take that approach as we draft Jamal Hill. And even though Jamal Hill is a cornerback, I think he might be the guy that we move to safety. I actually really like Jamal Hill at that safety position. And as you guys are about to see, Jamal Hill, he's got a big hitter trait. So that's even more the reason to put him at safety. And I drafted him with the intention more so to move him to safety, just looking at his stats. Very physical. And he's a guy that I think we can move and fit the NFL game better as a safety. Maybe as a slot cornerback, but we'll have to see the way the rest of our team looks, right? He either plays slot corner for us or safety as we draft an offensive lineman. And even though I said we have our starting 5, we still draft an offensive lineman because, it's good to have at least one depth lineman out there, right? And, he actually ends up being pretty solid for us. I think this guy, along with Jamal Hill, they ended up being 2 of our best players from this entire draft. So you see Jamal Hill, he's a 73 overall cornerback, but we are going to move him to that strong safety position. So as you guys are going to see from the ratings. Actually, I don't show the ratings right there, but, you know, maybe we start Brian Poole at the start of the year, kind of like with the Troy Franklin situation. Start someone else at the beginning and then let the rookie slowly transition into the lineup. And Barlow, he's obviously not going to start for us. Well, actually, he is going to start for us in week 1 because we had the injury with Luke Matthews, and Barlow, he's going to be our guy in week 1, and he's not the worst in the world, so yeah, even though we have our offensive line, especially with the way injuries are, and especially with the way injuries are with our team, we definitely prioritize depth with this Texans team more than I have in any of the other franchises, as Jamal Hill for the touchdown. Jamal can ball, and if he's playing like that, he might earn a starting role as soon as week 1 as the backup quarterback. I think that's Kyle McCord getting intercepted as Paulson Adebo. He's just a preseason body out there, a backup. Probably not a guy that's going to make the final 53 on this team. Davis Mills, still our backup quarterback, man. He's still kicking it for us as we throw the interception right there. Cardinals down by a lot in the fourth quarter, and that's not going to help them. Jamal can ball. His second interception out here. That's what I like to see as Samson Ebicom gets injured. Not a serious injury right there, so don't worry about that. As look at the physical Kenny Galladay getting by Bush, absolutely putting the hands on him. But he's not that fast, and Bush is, so he gets the hawk down at the 10-yard line. 2 plays later, Davis Mills for the touchdown, finding Jalen Redd. The red zone is Jalen's zone, and that's his 3rd touchdown of the preseason. And I know what you're thinking, man. Should Jalen Redd be starting for our team? I mean, I really don't know, man. I really don't know. It's possible. I'm not going to rule it out. I'd like to try to find better options, but Jalen Redd, he just produces. I don't know. He just plays above his ratings, and there's really no way to explain it at all. And speaking of explaining, I finally remember what I was talking about before I sidetracked on that William Jackson interception. So yeah, the XP in this league in the preseason is at the max, 300 XP, as opposed to like the 65 or 75 it is normally. As you guys see, Luke Matthews, he'll be out for 4 weeks. That is preseason for 3 weeks, and then week 1 of the regular season. So he's going to miss 1 game, so it's not too crazy. As we actually have a little storyline here, Cam standout, and it's going to be for Aiden Hutchinson, who we just brought in off that trade, and yeah, this is pretty interesting. And Aiden Hutchinson, I think he has 3 sacks in 2 preseason games so far. He's been playing well for us, and it's going to pay off because he's going to get some, I should have sped this clip up here, but he's going to get +5 block shed from this little camp standout storyline, which is super clutch because now his block shed goes from like 82 to 87. Like, it's a huge boost. And it's going to really help us out. And I think Aiden Hutchinson, at this point, he'll be stealing some snaps away from Haskell Garrett. Because Haskell Garrett, he was our 2nd interior defensive lineman when we come down in, you know, a 4-down lineman set, right? Usually it's our outside linebackers, Drake Jackson and Drew Sanders. And then inside, we would have Haskell Garrett whenever he was healthy. And, of course, Brian Breesy. Now, it might be Breesy and Aiden Hutchinson, Hutchinson improving the way he is. This was badly needed, because as I was saying, Troy Franklin, raw prospect. He gets +2 release and +2 deep route running right there. We'll take that. Thank you, I believe, Kenny Galladay for making that happen. And those were some nice boosts for us. I don't think we've gotten that in the preseason all cycle long. We got 2 big ones for 2 key young players on this team that, you know, if they improve for us, you know, that can be improvements on our team that we didn't have from last season. So, yeah, just to wrap up the whole XP thing. That's why I play the guys. You get 300 XP. Just, you know, the league tries to encourage you to play in the preseason. So, for 1, that's why we play preseason games at all. And 2, that's why I leave the starters in for, you know, until they get subbed out by the game. But the risk in all of that is potential injuries, and, you know, it's just the risk I'm willing to take. You know, if they get injured, you know, so be it. And unfortunately for Brian Breesy, that's an abdominal tear. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks as Russell Wilson on 3rd and goal. He's doing Russ things out there, finding David Njoku for the touchdown. Breesy, he's going to be out for the first 2 games of the regular season as Sam Howell launching. That's the flash. Anthony Schwartz burning Stephon Gilmore for the touchdown. Schwartz, he's still about that life, for sure. But, yeah, this is going to be a mirror repeat of last season where remember, Luke Matthews missed the first couple of weeks, and Breesy missed the first 2 weeks of his career because of a practice injury. And those same two guys are going to be out once again. So, I mean, hey, at least we got experience dealing with it, as we throw the interception right there. Definitely made the wrong read on that high-low. Simple stuff. And what the preseason also does for you is, you kind of just mess around with some stuff, feel out your roster, try out some plays that you wouldn't run during the regular season to see how it fits with your squad. 10-minute quarters, a lot of, plays that can be ran, so why not experiment with some stuff, right? As we go a little play action here, play action jet sweep, patience from Howell, downfield we go, and we got Brevin Jordan on the spin move on the last play of the first quarter. So we still have a couple of draft picks left to be made, but that's basically what we're doing out here. The preseason and the offseason and stuff like that. This is our final game of the preseason. It's week 3 against the Miami Dolphins. In this game, the starters play for 3 of the 4 quarters, as Russell on 3rd down in traffic, and that'll be incomplete. The Miami Dolphins made a blockbuster trade in the offseason, as Sam Howell literally just gifts the Dolphins an interception. Had an open Gus Edwards out the backfield, and yeah, that's just a bad throw by Sam right there. Gus Edwards, he's going to be our running back number 3 behind Lingard and Joe Mixon. Wouldn't expect him to see any time on the field unless there's an injury to Mixon or Lingard. But, I mean, he's 240 pounds, man. Gus the bus, right? Why not put him on our roster, man? Just, I feel like those physical backs, they translate well in next-gen Madden. So, I wanted to get him. I actually tried to trade for Gus Edwards in the past in this franchise and wasn't able to do it. And he was a free agent, so I was like, hey, man, I'm going to put in a claim for Gus. We have the cap space, and even after the moves we made in the offseason, we still have about $35 million cap space, more than enough to, make a blockbuster move or two. We made moves, and we still, didn't sign everybody we could have out there. As we'll get the stop here on 3rd down, get the swat right there. So, yeah, I think that's just about, all that needs to be covered as far as talking about our team. Obviously, it is May, right? As of right now, I'm recording this video. I'm recording this commentary. It's week 5 in the franchise right now, so we're actually not too far behind. Like, a lot of these videos have been pretty far behind. Like, a lot of the Season 3 videos I recorded when we had finished Season 3, but this one, we're actually not too deep into Season 4, so we are catching up. But, yeah, that means the majority of these games are being played in May, June, July. And like I said in the last video, we have 2 more seasons of this franchise. So, it's May, June, and July Madden, right? Like, how serious are we going to take it? I'm not going to let it down, but, like, hey, man, like, it's sometimes we might just, go into a game and just chill out, and whatever happens, happens. It just is what it is, right? And the reason why we're playing so deep right now is because we had to delay the franchise starting for over a month for that scouting update. The league wanted to delay the start of the franchise so we could have the scouting update. Otherwise, if you start the franchise before the scouting update came in mid-October, you don't get the scouting update at all for your franchise. So the league waited, and debatable whether it was worth waiting or not. I like it. I like the scouting update. I haven't really shown it at all because it's not really too flashy and it wasn't really perfected. They had to make a patch recently just to make the scouting update a little bit better. But yeah. Debatable whether it was worth the wait or not. Right now, as we're starting Season 4 in May, definitely I'm thinking more of it wasn't worth it, but I like the update personally, if you're wondering my opinion on the scouting update. I'm looking forward to seeing what they could do with it in next year, see if they can improve it at all, fine-tune it at the very least. So here's a final look at our draft class. We drafted Sellers and Connolly at the end of round 5 and the end of round 6. Spoiler alert, those are 2 guys that won't see the field, all right? I mean, honestly, we're probably going to put those guys on our practice squad right there. Conley's got pretty good physical stats right there, but yeah, I don't think we have space in the in for him. We actually have such good depth that we don't need those guys, so that's a good thing for us, I suppose. It's Troy Franklin making the nice catch right here. Josh Jobe trying to get the interception completely out of position, so we'll take that. Sam Howell has had a pretty good game. It's just when he throws bad passes, inaccurate passes, they end up getting picked off. So, some of the accuracy issues for Sam Howell, not really an issue for us in the past, but they're showing up here out of nowhere. So, yeah, that's our draft recap right there. So, yeah, that's the state of our franchise out here as Savon Ahmed getting the fumble recovery here on second down. That was Aiden Hutchinson off the edge. So Hutch, he's had a sack in every single preseason game. Oh, Drake Jackson. Wow. We just got 3 sacks in a row. Okay. And we actually had 2 forced fumbles in a row that we didn't recover either of them. Which, you know, it's all right. It's preseason. Nothing too crazy out here. We fast forward to about midway in the 4th quarter where I try to target Troy Franklin, and we end up getting picked off right there. And, yeah, maybe locked our eyes on the rook a little bit too much there in the red zone. Probably cost us the game, but it's all right. But hold on just a second. Caden Stearns, this man loves the preseason, man. He loves, remember last year's preseason. Caden Stearns, that was only his first pick of the preseason, and really the first impact play he had the entire preseason. But he loves the preseason. Now the backups are in, and, you know, we still got Davis Mills out here. 4th down, we got the Alligator, and at this point, the Alligators are running back number 4. So if I said Gus Edwards is not going to see the field, really don't expect the Alligator to see the field. I know he's another one of those cult hero guys, but our roster has surpassed playing the Alligator, which is a good thing. Don't feel bad for him. It's a good thing for us as we get sacked here on second down. That's not good. Backup offensive line kind of getting shredded as we get Franklin here on 3rd down, and that's going to make this 4th down somewhat manageable to convert. So we drop back with Davis Mills looking in the back of the end zone, but for some reason Joe Mixon checked into the game. Our depth chart got pretty messed up if Joe Mixon came in, and yeah, our goal line offense. I'm trying to find some passing plays for it. I don't know, man. The goal line is just a freaking mystery to me at this point. I got to go into practice mode and just practice goal line or something. The Dolphins tried to kneel the game out there, and we declined their attempt to end the final preseason game. I want to play more football, man. It's a close game. It's a 1-possession game, right? The competitor in me is not going to let him kneel the ball, all right? Like, you got to earn it, and that's why we make him earn it, right? And now he gets sacked for his safety by the veteran Bud Dupree, and here we are with a chance to take the lead, but under a minute to go. One more time. We need a touchdown. One more time. We need accurate passes. Missing an open Jalen Red. Next play in the corner. Franklin's got it. Troy Franklin, the rookie, with the go-ahead touchdown. We didn't make the PAT. I probably should have put that in for some added dramatic effect, but we did make the PAT. And now let's see if we can get a stop right here. Nearly got the interception with Stearns on 1st down. On 3rd. Oh, Tyler Boyd got it in bounds. We were right there, but maybe a skosh out of position with Tremon Smith, as that'll be a catch by Boyd. Dupree flattens him with 18 seconds to go. Miami has no timeout, so they'll just put the field goal unit out there with Jason Sanders. Play it safe, not lose the game, and Sanders is good. So some dramatics here in the last minute of the preseason. A couple of score changes here. That was probably the last one with 13 seconds left, but no promises because we have 2 timeouts. We can work the middle of the field here, but that was costly right there. 1st down got hit as we threw the ball. 2nd down, we're just going to max protect here, and downfield we go. Jalen Red with the catch. Got him in bounds. It's going to be a 59-yard field goal attempt for Kaimi Fairbairn. The wind is on our side, and good as time expires. Fairbairn missed a 59-yard field goal against the Cardinals, but with the wind, that definitely aided us. We had some leg to spare, and we win the game on a walk-off. Shout out to Jalen Red. He makes plays. What can I say? So yeah, fun little end to the preseason. That'll do it for the video. Next time I see you guys, it'll be week 1 of the regular season. We won't have Luke Matthews or Brian Breesy, but hey, man, we brought depth for a reason. So I'll catch you guys for that week 1 game. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed this one. Shout out, as always, to the people who make it to the end of these preseason videos, because, I mean, you got to be a diehard to make it to the end of these preseason videos, man. We're doing a lot. It's preseason, right? So, yeah, shout out to everybody who made it to the end. Thank you, as always, for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.